weird light. Am I right to have my glasses on, or do you want them off?
Where is it? Oh, there.
What did you think that was?
I've seen... It's my thing. Sorry, I was like, what's attached to me?
Hi.
Hello.
How do you say his name? Eden?
Owen.
Owen. I didn't say that then.
So I'm Owen McKenna and I play the vicar.
And I'm Adrian J. Mercer and I play David.
Well, he was called Eoin on our first call. I spelled it wrong. So he's now called Eoin in my phone.
Eoin. Lovely Eoin.
I am Louise Kempson and I play Miss Lodge.
My name's Conor O'Rourke and I'm playing the policeman.
Who do you ask? I don't know.
I'm Tara Lucas and I play Nan.
I'm Laura Jeffries and I play Jackie Greenwood and the flute quite a lot.
You can sit back or sit forward or whatever you want.
Should go
Get
for like
closer
a cheeky
together.
little angle there. Yeah.
Hi. So I'm Will and I'm playing Raymond.
I'm Stuart and I'm playing Dad.
I can't sit on this chair properly.
Go on.
I'm Fiona Tong, and I play Auntie Dolly, and I also play a very small part called Mrs. Pembridge.
I'm Olivia Wormald and I play Ruby, and I also play the violin, and I'm also the assistant musical director.
Do you want to go ahead?
I'm Sadie Levett and I play Kathy.
I'm George Hankers and I play Charles.
Well.
So there are 3 children, the Bostock children, Kathy, Nan and Charles.
Auntie Dolly's 2 nieces and 1 nephew.
They live in a town in Lancashire, set in the 1950s.
So we are brother and sister and we have another sister, Nan.
It starts with an evil character called Eddie drowning some kittens. Horrific.
If there was an antagonist, I suppose Raymond would be it.
And we try and go and save the kittens, and Kathy takes them to the barn to hide them.
An old barn on their dad's property.
Kathy, the eldest, finds a man in their barn.
And says, "Who are you?" And he inadvertently says, "Jesus Christ."
And she tells her other 2 siblings.
We don't really know who he is. He says he's Jesus and we believe him.
And we all get excited, don't we, the kids, thinking we found Jesus.
They tell all their friends at school.
And eventually all the children in the village discover this man who evidently turns out to possibly be a murderer.
And there's a load of confusion about whether he is him or not.
Panic from all of the local adults and all of the kids are just loving life with who they think is Jesus.
They keep it secret from the adults and their parents and the town folk.
And that's basically it, but actually he's a crim. And all the adults are like, oh my god, there's a criminal around. And the kids are like, he's Jesus, we got to believe him this time.
And he's this wise, incredible man that they have to protect and follow, and they have to protect him from the adults who will crucify him, because that's what happened last time, when in fact he's actually a murderer.
Yeah.
How funny is it to say it out loud and be like,
No, you kind of talk about it and you're like, hang on, what am I even saying? But you have to see it for it to really make sense.
Yeah, and we basically follow these kids as they try to keep it a secret because they want to protect him and they want to make sure he gets better and they can do all the things that he wants them to do. And
the children are supporting him.
Raymond, however, wants to spoil the fun.
And
Comes to a head.
yeah.
And then the adventures ensue. It's, I suppose, just 2 different worlds really happening at the same time. You have adults who are terrified of this convict, basically, who's on the loose, and then you have kids who just have this faith in this man.
Yeah.
I think what comes through is the innocence of the children and how they are prepared to believe in somebody without prejudice, really, which is just to take somebody at complete face value, and they haven't been hampered by all the things that start having an effect on the thought processes of the adults. So I think that the children in the story and the adults in the story are always sort of juxtaposed against each other.
so everyone's desperately trying to do the right thing and it's just clashing.
And the parents think the kids are stupid.
Classic.
Yeah.
So that's basically, it's the naivety of children, that's what I think it's about.
I'd say it's about faith, the purity of children, innocence, and sort of and belief. I think it's all about
how we grow up and we lose faith in things, and how children keep that faith. Yeah.
I think it's about the innocence of children at Christmas.
I mean, I'm not sure I can beat that answer.
It's a nice alternative, actually, for a Christmas story. It's basically all about the innocence of children in contrast to the negativity of adults.
I think at the heart of the show is about Christmas and sort of belief, and how everyone, no matter what age you are, wants to believe in something. And I think that's sort of the heart of the show, this idea of belief, and especially at Christmas, like you want that little bit of magic in your life, don't you?
That's banging.
Yeah, that's basically what it is, isn't it? And it's quite a refreshing story.
Yeah, it kind of follows like how the naivety of kids and the idea of worshipping and loving something that's greater than you, it's just really refreshing, because then you have the contrast with the adults where it's all like a bit too literal and a bit like you need a bigger perspective on life, and then you have these kids that have the biggest perspective on life there is, and obviously if it's real or not we never know, but like you say, it's refreshing.
It's the childhood innocence that makes it special. It's kind of takes you back to a more innocent time when we were kids.
I think it's very wholesome and raw, and really channels in on the innocence of the children more so.
I always think it's like a Sunday afternoon film. It feels like a rainy Channel 5 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon film.
Yeah, perfect for the family.
Yeah.
It's got such a sweetness to it, but I also think it's quite relevant to today.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's also got these kind of like dark undertones, so it's good for kind of everyone to watch. The kids will enjoy the funny bits, and the adults will actually get a good show to sort of enjoy and get their teeth into.
I've never come across this show before.
I knew the story. I've seen the Lloyd Webber version of the show, so I'd heard that music, but I'd never heard this version of the show.
Yeah, and I'd heard the Andrew Lloyd Webber music, not seen his version, but had seen the film a number of times when I was a child and also as an adult, so I'm familiar with that take on it, definitely.
The music is amazing.
It's stunning.
It's beautiful, it's really beautiful.
It's got like a sort of Sondheim wordiness about it.
The words, I mean, one song in particular, Angels, first time I heard that, I was gone. I was absolutely gone, wasn't I?
You were. And the second and the third time as well.
The music's really hard.
Really hard.
Very challenging.
Yeah, it's a very challenging score to perform, but incredibly rewarding to listen to.
It's got some really beautiful moments as well. It goes from being very melodic, especially for the kids, and then there's kind of these jagged, lovely, pinchy bits from the adults, so it has a nice juxtaposition to it. Yeah.
Even in those type of numbers, you can hear it interspersed then such like beautiful kind of phrases and tunes as well. So it's that storytelling, but it's so beautiful. It's so musical as well. It's really, really great.
It's beautiful music, actually. It's a real contrast again between the adults and the children. The children are more fluid numbers, and the adults are more staccato and hard to listen to.
There's a lot of contrasting themes.
For us, the adults, we get to sing some brilliant lyrics, and it's storytelling.
It kind of works with the story, with the whole meaning of it.
Yeah, it's quite. I mean, we keep comparing it to Sondheim. It's like quite Sondheim-y, how you could talk it.
It's mega wordy, and really interesting. I think it's quite a difficult listen. It's beautiful, but it's a difficult listen. So you have to really, really concentrate when you're watching to make sure that you hear the words, because the words tell a story.
It reminds me somewhat of like a Sondheim score. It's like that style where it's all about the emotion. Rather than hitting perfect notes.
It's a difficult score, which we've all related to.
Some very tricky intervals for the musicians and the singers to cope with, but I think all of that shows just their reach and the difficulties that they have.
We've had to work really hard on it, actually.
It's so complicated and complex, but it's so incredible. Like when we first were learning the music, I was like, I am never going to be able to remember these tunes. I'm never going to be able to play this on the flute. Like this is so difficult.
I remember when we started to learn it, and you kind of go, oh my gosh, this is never going to get in my head in a million years.
The way that songs are easy to learn is because it's so different to where you would normally place it, because it's so unnaturalistic, whereas this is so naturalistic that to learn it
It's hard.
was nasty.
Yeah, it is a challenge.
It's written like a conversation, so I assume how he would have written it is he just said the lyrics and then was like, how am I going to make this into a song now? And how do I make this sound amazing?
I seem to remember like I think it was the first day of rehearsals, I was looking at this music and I was going, what is happening?
All three of us were.
There's like a 9/8, then it goes to like a 3/4, then it goes to like a 4/4, and you're like, in 3 bars, how is this happening?
It went to like key signatures I didn't even know existed.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
yeah, it's nuts.
You pair like a 9 and a 6 together on that? Like what? I didn't get it.
His use of like different complicated chords and things like that is just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's phenomenal.
I think it's challenging in a good way,
Yeah,
actually,
very much
because
so.
I think rather than just being very simple set pieces, it's not the sort of music that commands the audience to applaud. Really, I think it's, for me, it's better than that, because what it does is it absolutely tells the story. So the way this adaptation works is it's very, obviously there is dialogue and there's music, but I think a lot of the time the audience may not even be aware when it goes from one to the other, from the spoken word to the sung word, and also, you know, when there's background music, you know, incidental music being played by the instrumentalists, and when there's not, I don't think the audience would always be aware of that. So I think the music really is very sophisticated.
Incredibly so. Like, as playing the score every night, some nights I play the piano track, some nights I play the violin track. It is difficult when you look at it at face value. I remember first seeing the score going, so much to learn, but actually I think the orchestration that we've decided to go with really accentuates the beautiful beautiful moments. There's some lovely, gorgeous melodic flute and violin together, and then you get more spiky, aggressive harmonies that would be very hard for a singer to sing over, but somehow seem to work in this orchestration.
But it's been good for us, actually. It's really pushed us to learn it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just listening to it, obviously within rehearsals and obviously doing the show, there should be an album out. Honestly, I absolutely love it.
I love it. I think it's really nice to perform.
It is stunning. It is a stunning.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Like showing that, I love it. Yeah.
The music really allows us to tell this beautiful story, and I think the music's quite transporting.
Yeah,
like when you
absolutely.
sit and listen to it and you look at the set and the lights, and you really feel like you're in Lancashire in the 50s.
But it's definitely not the Andrew Lloyd Webber version.
Might do a cast album.
Yeah. Get the Kickstarter going, yeah.
Lancashire's quite famously a difficult accent to master. I think Yorkshire is the easier of the two, but they're very different.
So before I started this, I couldn't do a northern accent. I'm notorious for not being able to do accents.
I grew up like 10 minutes down the road from where it's set, so that's quite exciting.
I found it all right. Okay, actually, yeah. I think we're lucky Owen is from Lancashire, so during rehearsals we were like, am I saying this word right? Again, check in.
So it was a lot of asking, oh, how do you say this word? But I think on the whole, everyone's accents are pretty good.
Well, hopefully quite good.
Yeah, I think they're quite good.
So.
A lot of the cast are northern, so that's you've got like Miss Lodge, who's got a natural Geordie accent.
Yeah, I'm from Newcastle, a Geordie, and yeah, it's coming down from there.
And then there's a few other. Well, the Geordie comes in to another character that the one that plays Miss Lodge plays, and when she does the Sally Army character, and then I do a little bit of Scottish for my other character as well, which I don't know, is that cheating to do a second character with a different accent? I don't know, possibly, but it's probably just a good signal for the audience, just in case they're unsure.
I am from a little town in the middle of the Midlands of Ireland called Kinnegad in Westmeath. But then lived in Dublin for many years before I moved over here to do my training and my acting. Yeah.
I was finding that I would I like speak to northern people, and I was working somewhere when we started the rehearsals, and I said to a guy, I was like, can you just talk to me please? And he's like, but why? And it was like, I just need to hear your accent, just talk, just say like a paragraph. And I would just carry on listening to it to try and pick it up.
My father was from Yorkshire and that, and I've got family that were from originally from Yorkshire, and yeah, it's just something that picked up easily, and yeah, it's quite an alright one to do. Yeah,
It's fun.
Yeah.
I like doing it. Yeah.
I don't even know how I did the audition.
Your accents are great. It's fine.
It's getting there. It's getting there still, you know, only week 3 and it's still getting there.
Actually, it's been alright, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been
I
good.
think when I was auditioning for it, I was like, oh my god, I'm not sure it sounds great. But once we all came together and we all tried to do it like in rehearsals, it started to get stronger and stronger, and everyone just sort of fell into it. Really, that's what I think. No one's actually picked up on it yet.
When I did the audition, I did a song which was really easy to do in a northern accent. So I was like, great, can do that. Then they were like, okay, we're going to give material. And I was like, oh, they're going to give material, which means I can't rehearse exactly how every word, every syllable should sound. Somehow pulled it off, and then turned up to the first day. And she was, and I remember the MD being like, can I have a bit more northern accent? I was like, I can try.
How?
Yeah.
It's been okay as we got running it. I think as we picked it up and you were doing it 24/7, it then felt a bit more natural, didn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not too bad.
I don't have that much to say in the show, which is quite good.
No.
But more singing in the accent is kind of strange. Because especially when you're at drama school, they're kind of always like, just sing in your accent or sing in an American accent. It's quite rare that you do a show that's in anything other than your native accent or an American accent. And like, I mean, you do it, but it's definitely less common. So it's amazing to get to do that. I mean, I'm not northern, but
No,
it must be
definitely.
amazing to hear that if you are northern, because there are so few musicals that are actually written genuinely in a real...
I think it fits the
like-
music as well, actually.
Oh, yeah,
Weirdly
totally.
enough, I think if you then sang it in your, I don't know, your native accent, it would just sound a bit strange. It kind of adds to the charm of the whole piece, actually, singing in the accent.
I love it. I did Spend at the Union a few years ago, which is also set in the north. I really love British musicals. It's like my thing. I really enjoy doing them. So yeah, I love it.
I keep wanting to go like all Liverpool, like all like that, like.
Yeah, they kind of blend into one, don't they? It's
So when I first started doing that, I was like, no.
And all three of us, brothers and sisters, we're all like in the show, we're all from down south originally, so it's totally the opposite end of the country.
I don't think I've ever actually been up north.
It was a challenge, but luckily I had done a production in drama school. We did Betty Blue Eyes. It's a similar kind of region and era, actually, which like gave me a bit of practice, I suppose, coming in. So I wasn't too terrified. It's one of those ones that I feel like I can actually do quite well. So I'm not great at accents in general, but this one miraculously works, thankfully.
Yeah, I think it's not exactly one of the hardest accents to do, although specifically Lancashire is quite difficult, especially if you take the time period.
We've got one person, I think, who's actually from Lancashire in the cast, and I don't think he's cringing when he's listening to the rest of us, so hopefully we're doing all right.
I hope he would have told us.
I think he would. I think he would, don't you? I think he definitely would.
And the most impressive accents are probably from the tiny little children who were in the show. They came in with like a full-on accent ready to go. So that was really impressive.
The youth theatre operates here every Sunday.
And I think they have different age groups, and
they do like dance, singing. I think they've taken apart the genre of musical theatre to start to teach them the basics of it, and then some of them have been chosen, I think, to be with us.
Yes, I mean
they just play the kids that are the adult kids in the show. It's their friends, so they come in and do the big sort of ensemble scenes. And I think the last time they did it, they were all adults playing kids, but this time we've actually got proper kids. your actual kids play, and it's great, isn't it?
It works really, really well.
So I think they were rehearsing, weren't they, around the same time as us?
We'd be rehearsing during the week, but then on a Sunday we come in and we do some scenes with the kids.
To slot them into kind of what we'd done, and they did an amazing job, didn't they? They'd learnt all the music, they had their books down before we did. We were like,
we were trying to remember the tune, and they're standing there perfectly acting through song.
With me playing the school teacher, I had a few. I've got a few scenes with him, and like you say, it's all different ages and some excellent kids. There really is.
It's great having the children there. I think it definitely adds something to the performance. And I was a bit sceptical about whether it would look odd that we had adult actors playing the three main protagonists. And I wondered what that would look like when they were together with the other children. But I think it works tremendously well. And the first time I saw them all rehearsing together, and I didn't know the main cast that well at that point because we'd only had 1 or 2 days sort of in the same room, and I was sort of looking for them. I couldn't quite pick them out straight away. So I think it works extremely well.
The 3 adults playing the kids, they actually look amongst them as well. They fit in really well. It's not like it's not a jarring on scene. It's not like, oh, there's 3 adults there with a group of youth kids. They all fit together really nicely.
They do.
Yeah.
They're all fab.
Yeah,
they're all so sweet, and they work really hard.
Yeah.
They're
doing a great job. Their accents are fantastic. Really showed us up, didn't they? They're all towering above me, which is lovely.
Yeah, we feel very tall.
Yeah, we do.
I'm the same height as everyone. This is very strange.
Exactly.
It definitely strengthens the image of what the story is about, to have the young ones with us. And I play a big kid in the show, so I get a lot of time with them, and they've been really great fun to work with. I think on most nights there's a group of about 6 or 7, and then on the weekends we get the younger ones, and there's about 15 to 20.
And they're phenomenal. They're just beautiful, like angelic voices, and it's really good set of kids. We've got 3 sets, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think it's tricky. At first it was tricky because there was so many of it. Like at weekends there's quite a lot of them, and they're organised so well. Sasha does such a good job that everything's just put into place, and we just get on with what we do, and they just fit around us, don't they?
Yeah.
There's 3 groups, and then at the weekends we have extra, like a younger group that come and join the groups that we have during the week as well.
Yeah, there's like a core cast, and each one of those casts has one kid that does one of the big songs in Act 2, and so they alternate between the 3 of them, and then, as you say, at the weekends we have about 5,000 children on the stage with us, which is great fun.
And Laura and Adrian have done an amazing job of learning all of the kids' stuff as well, haven't you? In case we have anyone sick, she's done an amazing job.
Which does occasionally happen, and you say it and they sort of look at you like, thank you. That was my line that I forgot to say. But that happens so rarely. They're so fab.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
But it's actually been quite refreshing to have them around, because the kids aren't necessarily set really with what they're doing in the show. They kind of know where they're going at what point and what lines to say, but every night is going to be different, so it really keeps us on our toes.
Really?
Like that
it's like, oh, gotta shove you this way tonight and tell you to sit down there.
well not even, it's just like, if a child sits in a different place than the other child wasn't yesterday, you just work with it and you go along with it, and it's been a good process for us and for them to improvise with it. And
Nativity was quite a big scene. It's your normal Christmas school production of Nativity, and the adults come to see their children in the Nativity, and there's all sorts going on, and it's kind of a farce, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite farcical, actually.
But it is quite funny. The humour's there because it's, when you see a child in a nativity, there's always either someone waving or someone picking the nose or something like that, and that's kind of what we have within the show. It's them elements and stuff, but it's brilliant.
It's amazing opportunity, I think, for them. Like, I know that when I was younger, and I was in a stage school as well, back home, so getting to do like 4-week run of a show, and because they're in sets of 3, so like they're all getting to loads of shows with us, which is great, and great for us to get to work with kids as well. It's really it's a different thing, but it's really, really lovely.
and it's lovely having
young people.
Yeah, it is. It's very nice, and I'm not having to actually manage them, which is equally lovely.
It's good to see where it started as well, because you remember being
we
the kid in the youth group.
We were kids on stage once, and now it's the same. It's so nice to see that they're given that opportunity.
And I think they've really enjoyed learning the music and just doing it. So actually that enjoyment spreads as well, because they just add like a nice energy. And because it's so innocent, as much as we can do it, like scenes with Jesus and with the man, and when they have actual reactions that just we can like feed off of as well and bounce off of. Lovely, really nice.
Yeah. And it changes it up every night, I think, as well.
Yeah, definitely. And there's something really magical about a child singing, and the children who have solos in the show, voices are absolutely stunning. And it's just gorgeous when you hear them sing, and there's just something about listening to a child sing this beautiful music that like really resonates with you.
It's a difficult thing, actually. We were told numerous times in rehearsals by Sasha, our wonderful director, that we shouldn't play children. We don't want to fall into this trap of being all childlike and kiddie, because we look young. If we just play our set like our own ages, then our look will do the work for us.
Yeah.
So I think for us it's more of a case of trying not to act like a child than actually acting like you're 12.
I'm sort of playing him around 13, 14, 15. I'm 26, so it's kind of a little task, but the costume's good, so it makes me look younger.
Raymond's the arsehole, he's the arsehole.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's really fun, especially in this. Like the dialogue is so funny and so sweet and innocent that you can just kind of fully believe it. It's really, I really enjoyed it.
I mean, for me, because you play the youngest. What's funny is you play the youngest character and he's the oldest. Whereas I started this at 19, and originally she was like, oh, maybe like 15, 17. I was like,
You've got it down.
I feel like I still have to remind myself, like now I'm 20 years old compared to, I'm not 14 anymore, I'm not in year 10, I don't have to worry about GCSEs. Like, so when she was like that age, I was like, sick, can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I always play children.
Yep,
I think this is my casting now for a good few more years. I just always seem to be children, so I don't really know how to be an adult anymore. It's kind of like permeating into my life. Just always a child. But yeah, it's really fun. I love playing children. It's so refreshing. And as you say, like the writing is so innocent and just genuine. Like they genuinely just believe everything they say. So they say it, whereas as an adult you sort of might think something and then you just don't tell anyone, or you hide it. But the kids are just like, this is what I think, so I'm going to say it.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is really, really nice.
I think it's really shown in the music too, like especially in Act 1, it's so, all the music is kind of written how you'd say it, and so it just feels really conversational and lovely, and that does feel like more childish as well.
Yeah. It's nice being mean, because I don't think I'm that mean, am I?
No, you're
really?
not.
No, there we go, that's good. I'll pay you after. Yeah. No, it's fun playing someone mean who's just there to like spoil the fun, and it's quite a good laugh. I do play sort of an adult at times as well for the choral numbers, so that's good. But yeah, no, it's fun playing a kid. Yeah.
I think in the characterisation it's just about getting the innocence.
Yeah.
And not being too much of a developed character to...
Because they've got to be quite mature kids anyway to bear the emotional burden of this show. Do you know what I mean? Like, no normal kid can just keep a secret. Do you know what I mean? So they're not kiddie kids. They're smart kids. So I think that helps as well, because we don't have to do the whole like, you know what I mean?
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that.
Do you feel like the dad?
Oh god, yeah. I'm exhausted. No, to be honest, the company has gelled so much. I mean, I can remember being the youngest in the cast, so now that I'm one of the oldest, it's a little bit soul-destroying. But no, I love it, and I love playing the dad, and actually, being their dad, the way it's written is so nice. It's actually made me go, I literally love them. I proper love them. It's a ridiculous thing to say, and I know it's all the script, but it did make me think to myself, I should have been a dad. I'd have been brilliant at it. No, I love Dad, and I like being the oldest. Not quite the oldest, nearly the oldest.
It's my first show with a company. I did a one-woman show this summer upstairs at the Gatehouse. So this is my first time sort of being with a full company, which is really, really nice. I found myself going from drama school and being in that very sort of close environment with people to being in a show with just me quite daunting, and it was quite lonely. But on this, it's been wonderful, and I feel like everybody's got their place in the company, and it's really, really great.
I just graduated this year. I've just spent the last 3 years there.
Yeah, and I left 18 months ago, something like that. Yeah.
Rosa, who is the musical director, was the year above me at Mount View on the actor-musician course. And Laura, who plays the flute, was the year above Rosa. So we've got a little dynasty in the band area. But there's also, there's Adrian and Eoin. And I didn't know Eoin before the show, but now I do very well. So it's nice.
I think we crossed paths without knowing.
Yeah.
But this is probably the first time that we've met.
Yeah. But there's a few of us from Mount View, and we all have like sort of recognise each other's faces from around the place, but have never worked together before. So we're a nice Mount View family.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I saw Jen and Prefer Blondes here 2 months ago because my friend Aaron was in it. Shout out to Aaron. And it was great, and I loved it, and I thought, oh, what a great venue, what a great first job that would be, because it seemed like a really safe environment. I knew Aaron had a really great time, and then the audition came through for Christmas, and I was like, that'd be fun. And it was really quick process, wasn't it? It was a massive, really quick turnover, and I mean, the role for me is literally a dream. It really is a dream, so I'm so grateful to have not only my first job out of drama school, but also to have my first job that I'm so proud of, and I'm so
what a debut!
Grateful.
It's huge for you.
It's
great.
Yeah. It's huge. It is huge for me because I didn't. You never think, oh, am I good enough to do it? Can I actually do it though? When you're in drama school, you only do something for a short amount of time, and it's it's all in small bursts. Whereas this, it's okay, now I've actually got to put myself to the test.
It's amazing, and it's definitely, I think it's the perfect project to sort of squeeze my way into the industry with, because it's a northern British musical. I feel very much at home, and I love this theatre. It has a very family vibe. It's just, there's no big pressures mounting on top of you. It's been really lovely to just come in and be welcomed.
Yeah, so I normally dance. I've been training in dance for my whole life. So this is the first time that I've spoken text on stage. I've sang on stage, it's been fine. But for me, the text is the scary part.
Right, doing a scene is so scary.
So scary. And
so scary.
I think it's because I've not had experience in it. So doing this has been a huge jump out of my comfort zone. Which has been amazing for me. It's even in the rehearsal process, watching these actors from Mount View and GSA and everywhere else, that you're kind of watching the way they work, and I kind of, if I wanted to be comfortable, I'd want it to be choreographic, where it's okay, on this word you do this and then you do this, but I kind of very quickly learnt that that's not how it is. That it's all improv, and it's all
instinct.
It's instinct. It's character driven, rather than it being you do a point here and then you do a.
I remember you saying in the first week that you were this is so out my comfort zone, and me and Tara were like, what? Really? You're great. And you were like, no, I feel really uncomfortable, because we were stood around the piano doing such intense work, and you were you could see your mind was
my mind was blown.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was and what time it was.
But to us, you were so capable of it, and you were absolutely smashing it, and you were like, we'll go get it.
Thank
we were
you.
what?
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been a very good process for me to push myself and actually realise that I can maybe act instead of just point my toes and kick my legs.
Acting is the most terrifying.
I've got a question for you, actually. Sorry, Phil.
For me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you felt that you've proved your talent to yourself doing this?
Ooh. I still come off stage every time and think I could have done better.
I mean, that's natural, yeah. but as long as you can see, like, I'm worthy of this, and you know I'm doing a great job, then it's fine, right?
Yeah, I guess, you know what? That's such an interesting question. I guess so. I mean, when I was doing my third year production, is it okay if I talk about this?
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was doing my third year production of Sweet Charity, which was amazing, I loved it, I was so disappointed with myself every show, and any video that ever came out for promo, I watched it and was disgusted at myself, because I was like, that's awful. I was like, that is honestly god awful. So I thought, if I ever actually do get into a show, because so many people don't, so many people graduate and don't manage to book a job. But I don't know, I feel like there's something about this that I just feel very safe. I feel like Sasha wouldn't put anything out that's not worthy, and I feel comfortable enough with George and Tara and the rest of the cast to do it. And I guess I have. I guess I do feel like, no, I do belong here, I do belong on stage, yeah.
Yeah. Good.
What an interesting question.
You said you've worked here at the union before.
Yeah, I went to the old one.
So what's it like, this new space?
I love it. But the weird thing is because when it moved, I was like, oh no, I love that old space. And I was, I've just touched the microwave. When it moved, I was like, it's going to lose its heart, because that, even though it was literally like falling down, it had something about it. There was something really special about it. So when I came here and started working, I was thinking it won't have the heart, but she's brought it with it. It's amazing. It really is. I love that space downstairs. It's beautiful. Yeah, love it. She's done a brilliant job.
I saw Brass last year, and that was fantastic. Yeah, it was very moving. Quite similar to this, in that it was an original British musical, and yeah, it does have quite a similar feel to it. A very earthy venue that supports a lot of these British musicals.
So I'd seen two of my friends in productions here, kind of went the year I graduated and then after, and I've always loved it. It's such a nice space, and they do great things, and like the ticket prices are good, which is always so nice, because it can be unbelievable. But it's lovely. I love the venue, I love the vibe, like the bar and kind of just how everything works is so nice. So I really enjoy it.
I mean, working here has been an absolute dream. Everyone is so nice, everyone's really friendly, and the whole vibe of everywhere, like you just know everyone that works here as well. Like I've done shows in some theatres where you know a couple of the people that work there, and everyone else is just sort of like, I do my job, you do yours. Whereas here it's very like, everyone does everything. Like Sasha, who like directed the show and does everything here, like will come in for rehearsals and she's just cleaning the toilets and you know, doing everything. So it just is such a amazing community like feel.
It feels like my home is your home. Yeah. When you get here, it's like right, cool. I can unpack my stuff and move in.
I saw the show that was on previously before ours. A few of us went to that, so that was the first thing I saw. But it's quite nice seeing a new space, but I'm enjoying performing here, and yeah.
This is my first time here, and this is kind of my like professional debut in London. And like, I've always been acting for years and years and singing, but yeah, it's just a special venue. It's just brilliant. Yeah. And working with Sasha is a director. She's just fantastic. She brings everything out of you. You know. She asks and she'll get it, and she really works like us. It's hard in rehearsals, hasn't she?
But it's like a really like safe environment. We always I think we always felt that we could like try things and it was going to be welcomed. And
relaxed environment as well. But
it's my debut as well. So it's my first time here in the union as well. But I've a few mates who have done shows here before. And I think it's a really, really respected venue. And I think, the amount of people, when I told them that I was going to be there, they really were like excited and really were like, knew how great of a venue and a space and the whole thing is. So I think it's got a wonderful reputation.
Yeah, it is a fantastic venue.
Yeah.
And it's you don't have to obviously have microphones, which is brilliant. So you've got a project, and it's just such an intimate venue. I think it's fantastic. Yeah. I've not come across it before in London, but it is quite a special place. I think. Yeah.
This is my first time being in the theatre at the Union. I did do a reading here with Sasha of a different musical upstairs, but this is my first time sort of being in the space, which is really exciting. So I had no idea what it looked like before, so to walk in and just see this massive barn and like the Lancashire farm kitchen was like quite magic, and I think it's a real testament to the space that it really transports you to wherever you're supposed to be.
The wonderful set that we are just in love with.
Our Offie nominated set is
Woo!
stunning.
Offie nominated!
Yeah, it's stunning.
So the set, it's kind of split down the middle, so half of it is the farmhouse where the Bostocks live, and the other half is the barn where Jesus lives, and we kind of move seamlessly in between the two, and it's magic. It really does feel very realistic.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I love it.
It's beautiful.
Brilliant.
It's absolutely beautiful. So it's very simple. We have the barn, where obviously a lot of the action takes place, because that's where Jesus is hidden away. And then we have a kind of kitchen family kind of setting for the rest of the house, and then everything else just kind of takes place in the space around it. So it's so simple, you know, and just kind of lots of little details like nods towards the barn and the era, but yet so atmospheric. Justin's design is just beautiful, and Hector's lighting then on top of that, it just really creates such, like, you really get the environment and the vibe, I think, of the time and the era, and that's what everyone has kind of said, like they think it's just stunning.
Oh my goodness, Justin's set design is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fun to
it's beautiful.
to use. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, I loved it. Yeah, just having the barn and like taking it really sets the time of the piece really well, I think.
Having done loads of other shows, and you see the models or the drawings of the sets that they're going to build, and then when you see the actual things, they never really look like what they're supposed to, well, like what they say they're going to look like. This was like it was amazing, and actually walking into it, it was really quite incredible that first day, wasn't it? I was like, it's amazing. He's done such a beautiful job on it, and the lighting as well. It's just the whole thing, I think, looks really nice, and you actually feel the atmosphere when you walk onto the stage. You can feel it. It feels nice, and I think that's down to the lighting, the direction, and obviously the set.
It was tricky. We rehearsed in the space with the show before us, their set, and that had like a huge bar and tables. And so actually when we came in to take it on Monday, we were like, oh, it looks different. And now there's no alcohol. So that was interesting, but actually it just gave it I think it was what we needed. It gave it that extra layer then if we had the barn and we had little things like the hay and stuff really makes a difference, and all the details like with the table and the magazines and the way everything is hung just feels really nice.
Yeah, it makes you like, it's very like a visceral set, like it feels like you are really somewhere else. It's a very realistic set for such a sort of sparse space, like considering all we've basically got is half of a barn and a wall and a table. It really feels like you're in another real space, which is
doesn't just feel like one big room. It does feel like you feel like you're in different areas each part of the set that you're on.
Yeah, definitely.
And trying to get all of us and the children hidden behind the barn is a task, but, we've
we
done
manage.
it.
Just about, even with our 5,000 kids at the weekend, we manage it. Yeah, it's good.
It's really transformed the space into a barn and into a dining room, and it doesn't need to be in a huge elaborate thing.
No.
In fact, I think this show works much better in the intimate venue. So
it's got a real warmth to it as well. Like there's something really, really homely about it.
Yeah, Justin's done an amazing thing with the space. So yeah, we're quite lucky.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
The set is fantastic.
I love it. I really love it. There's something, I think Justin's got the period just spot on. I think he allows for sort of scenes in different locations to take place really, really easily. When we first saw the barn part of the set, I was so excited for what
I think it's perfect. I don't think we could have asked for a better set.
It's stunning.
I mean, there's hay in my wardrobe at home because it's falling off everywhere. You think you're just fine in the dressing room? No, I take it home with me.
Yeah.
The hay look at the floor. It's everywhere.
We've had such a wonderful response. I think you get some people who are surprised it's not the Andrew Lloyd Webber version.
One or two.
But I think everyone's really pleasantly surprised because it's not a particularly well-known musical, but It's set around Christmas, and obviously it's Christmas now, and the music's so beautiful and it feels Christmassy.
It's a very universal story as well, so I think a lot of people come out on the other side of it very, very moved.
Yeah, and I think there's so much you can take from the show as well.
Absolutely.
And there's lots of different characters or parts of the story that you'll relate to. So you'll leave feeling very festive, but also entertained and moved as well.
Audiences are really good, actually. Obviously, it's not an odd show. I don't know how to phrase it, because it's quite dense. It's not like we finish on a jazz hand note. It's a bit like we get a lot of. Do we clap? Do we intensely stare? Do we like cry? Like it's a bit of a, oh, what do we do? So we had it the other night where there's a duet that the man does with, I think Joe's what they call in this production. They do like a little duet and it's lovely and it's gorgeous. And my line is the next line after the song. So I left a bit of time just for dramatic effect. And then because of that time, someone went, and we were like, what? Like, and even after like my songs, which are like, they're not sad, but they're not happy. They're just somewhere in the middle. Never a clap. And it's not even like a sign of like, oh, that's sad. Do you know what I mean? Like our trios never get claps, but it doesn't need a clap. It doesn't.
Yeah, the show doesn't need it.
No.
It's very much a film on stage, really, in the sense that it's
100%. So it's hard to actually know what the audience think. I mean, most nights they're like laughing hysterically at Eoin, like I am under my breath, because I honestly couldn't keep it together throughout the rehearsals, didn't I?
Yeah,
I was absolutely messed throughout rehearsals because he's so funny. But apart from that, you don't hear much from them until you actually get outside, and then everyone's always been really, really nice. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's that awkward one of, oh, they've just kind of poured their hearts out. No, I'm not going to clap. It's a bit like, yeah, great. But that's the way it should be. That's the effect we want to have.
Yeah, we do get quite emotional, so it's a bit like, are they supposed to react to that or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've had a lot of people get really emotional, haven't we, at the end, which is nice. I guess when we're doing it and thinking about, have I got the right thing? Am I in the right place? You kind of almost forget that when people are watching it, it is really moving, the story. So we've had nice reactions, haven't we?
Yeah. Yeah, we've only had a few people thinking it was Andrew Lloyd Webber and being very surprised.
But nicely surprised.
But nicely surprised. Yeah. They're like, oh, this is great. Not what I was expecting, but it's great.
Yeah. Where's the Whistle Down the Wind song?
Yeah.
Well.
Wow. That one's not in this version. But yeah, it's been really well received.
Yeah.
Well, I think they've been really good. I think they've been really receptive. It's quite tricky because a lot of them are quiet. It's a small space, and if they're not used to seeing something on the fringe, they might not be used to it being so intimate. But they've been quite quiet. When you get the response that you want, then you know that it's working, and you do get that quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah. It always feels different. I mean, I'm the oldest person in the cast, and I don't know if I'm the most experienced, but obviously I'm one of the ones that's got quite a lot of experience. And I think that I always find it interesting when younger, this is going to sound really patronising and I don't mean it to, but younger people, obviously, they come to show, and for some people this is probably the longest run of something that they've ever done.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we've done 15 performances already, and it does feel very different. Every audience has its own character. But what I think I just keep trying to put across to everyone is, when I now and again feel it's appropriate to chip in and say it, is that because an audience is quieter or seems more serious, or just it doesn't necessarily mean that they are enjoying it less than another audience that was very vocal or seemed more involved when we were doing it. You just don't know. You can never judge someone's take on an experience and what they've been experiencing that particular day. I think it was apparent that there was a small audience on the day that there was the London Bridge attack.
Yes.
It happened to be a small audience, which may have been because some people chose not to rock up or whatever, but also they were a subdued audience. But you see, that may have been because, in a way, outside experiences affect what you take from something in the theatre. But that doesn't make it less enjoyable or...
It was quite an emotional show, that one. A lot of people were emotional at the ending as such.
Yeah, so you just don't know. So I think, hopefully everyone will realise it. And then actually what we have to do is our job is always just to carry on tell the story the way we've been planning to tell the story. And yes, respond with the audience and try and, you might have to adjust a bit because of the way the audience is responding, but we've always just got to tell the truth of our characters, and if we all do that every single time, then hopefully the audience will take what they will take from it, the way somebody will when they look at a painting or when they read a book. You can't judge. So yeah,
I think people are surprised in a way because some people might not necessarily know the story, but first of all, I think surprised by how festive it actually is. There is quite a festive element to it, and it's a nice kind of alternative Christmas show in a way. So that so many people that out of my friends and family who have come and seen it, afterwards, they they're almost caught off guard that they're a little bit emotional about it, and because I think it's just set around that time of the year, and it just is a really kind of touching story. But then there's also comedy in there, that nativity scene and different bits throughout it. It's really kind of ticks a lot of boxes, I think. So you have that laughter coming from them, so we know that, which is great for us. But then those moments you can tell that it's getting the point across, and they are really enjoying it. I think,
it's an emotional show, and if I wasn't in the cast and came to see it, I would love it.
I would say there's something for everyone. I think you'll come and just watch a beautiful story with lovely music. You'll be visually amazed by what it looks like.
It's just stunning. It really is. And there's some really catchy tunes.
I think it's a beautiful show of innocence, a sense of magic, and a sense of Christmas as well.
It's very heartwarming.
Yeah.
And it is surprisingly funny for when you're thinking about the fact that there's a murderer on the loose. It is a really well-written, funny show.
It's very uplifting. It's very thought-provoking.
It's different to anything that's out there at the moment, I'd say.
Yeah.
A production with this much heart, with this much innocence, and
yes, I think there's some spirituality there, just in in an underlying sense. There's definitely a sense of fun. There's the wonder that the children have, and also just the disregard that they have for lots of things. But and I think there are some strong characterizations. I think there's something that everybody could identify with, no matter who they are and so on. There's definitely a lot to be taken from it, and whether you're a child and you're looking at it through the eyes of the children there, or whether you're an adult, and I think everybody remembers what it feels like to have been a child like that, looking at the world through their eyes, and just believing, because why wouldn't you believe? That
kind of alternative Christmas show, it's not a panto.
It's a really nice Christmas show. It's a great alternative to a pantomime if you want to see something a bit different.
Not that there's anything wrong with pantomime. I love but it's just it's very festive.
Pantomimes are on every year all the time, aren't they? So if you're fed up of going to see them, come watch.
It's a proper
it's got good.
Well,
it's got really nice, funny scenes, but it's also it's brought people to tears. So
it's got good acting. It's a good acting piece.
Things,
I think it's really good for those three kids that are adults that are kids. It's incredible for them. It's a really great vehicle, and people need to come and see them do that, because it's quite awe-inspiring to watch, especially how young they are and how earlier on in their career they are. It's pretty amazing.
It's not a panto. We're not going to throw glitter over you.
And it's not religious.
It's not religious, but there is a sort of Christmas magic made every night.
It's a beautiful musical. It's a kind of a story that you don't hear all the time. No. It's very family friendly, I think, and has those kind of religious elements that it touches on, but it's still very accessible to everybody, I think. Definitely. And I think it's that festive nature of it, I think, is what is really actually lovely about it, without being Christmas all in your face, but it's festive. I think it's the word to hang upon.
Yeah.
Definitely. So,
yeah.
And the cast are great. We have such a good time.
We do have a great time.
just come watch. We've got what, a week and a half left?
It's gone fast, isn't it? It's gone so fast.
Yeah, come watch. That's what I'd say.
The book is great and the music is great. Like together, it's a really good combination, and definitely come and see it if you can.
Come and see our show, please.
Bye now, please. We'd love you to see it.
1 week left.
I'll even give you an autograph at the end.
Do you want to go see a panto? No. Well, come to Union Theatre. That's what I'd say. Are you sick to death of pantos? Great, come to the Union.